Hello, my name is Melissa Daniels, and this is Strabismus to Stereopsis. On this channel, we talk all about what to do when your eyes are not pointing straight and how to get them pointing straight. Today's video is going to be geared towards children who have finished vision therapy and how to maintain that progress that they were able to make during vision therapy. Last week, we talked more towards the adults. That video would still be helpful either way, but this is more how to do that if you are a parent trying to help your child. If you want more help or you're looking for other resources or you're just getting started on your journey, go over to learn.strabismussolutions.com. Over there, you can take the free quiz. You can get help finding a vision therapy office, or you can sign up for a course or a Zoom call with me, and that can kind of help you get going in the right direction. Vision therapy requires a large time and money commitment. And I get that parents are wanting their kids to maintain the progress that they were able to make during vision therapy. And it's true, if they were to just leave vision therapy one day and never look back, they might have those vision problems and the eye turn could come back. That's definitely possible and something to be thinking about. So I'm going to give you four different areas, I guess, that you can think about when you are trying to maintain that progress. So first, foremost, when you're in vision therapy and you graduate, I don't think I've ever heard of an office that doesn't give you what they call like retainer activities or home therapy. Basically, it's a plan and different exercises to work on for the next few months after you graduate. This is designed just like a retainer when you get braces to help you keep the progress that you've already made. So those are really important, and that should be the main priority, is doing the exercises that the office has given, because those are going to be tailored for your child and where they're at and the specific needs they have. So that's the first thing. Follow the direction and orders of your doctor. Now, let's say you're 6 months out, a year out, and it's like, okay, we're done with the retainer exercises. What do we actually do in daily life to just make this progress stick? And as somebody who's been out of vision therapy for 3 years, I'm going to give you some tips on what I do and for myself and for my kids who have graduated from vision therapy. So after the home therapy stuff, first is thinking about peripheral vision and space. I talked a lot about this in the last video. The idea is helping your child be aware of the space around them, and are they using their depth perception, right? If you're using both eyes, you should be able to see space and depth in a different way. And it's easy to go back to just the old way of seeing where everything is kind of flat, or it's not that it's flat, but you're not really thinking about the space or seeing the space, and you need to draw your attention. So if I were a parent, which I am, and I had a kid with strabismus, which I don't, these are some things that I would maybe do. So anytime you're driving in the car is a great time to do some eye exercises. Definitely don't give them a tablet in the car. Okay, that's bad news. So you can say, hey, can you look forward on the road and can you see the trees running past? I always call it running trees. Can you be aware of the stuff that's going past you, or fence posts, and just helping them see that motion. Hopefully it doesn't make them throw up or anything. That's a great one in the car. Another one is just like, even like the ABC game, you're right. You're trying to find these different things in your periphery. You're trying to be aware. So those are the kind of things, like in the car, it's great because you've got a lot of motion going on. Another one that is really great is what we call time and space at our office. But the idea of this exercise is, especially with the space, is having the child have to kind of quantify how much space they're seeing. This is something that you could do at the dinner table. This is something you could do while you're driving. This is something that you could do when you're outside in the yard, right? So I'm trying to give you things that you can incorporate into daily life just to help draw your child's attention to the space and periphery around them. So for example, let's say I'm sitting on the front porch with my 8-year-old daughter. We'll pretend that she had strabismus. She's graduated. And we see a tree, and I say, okay, Everly, if you were to lay down on the ground, how many of your bodies would be between us and that tree? And, she might say like 4 or 5, and then let's try it. And so then she would try it with her body. Or, okay, how big around is that tree? Like how close, from the close part of the leaves to the far part of the leaves, how many branches or how many leaves do you think there would be? So trying to help them quantify that space that is between them and something that they're looking at, or maybe between the mailbox and, I don't know, the neighbor's mailbox. It could be how many feet, like literal, like their little tiny feet, or if you have a bike, how many times would you have to pedal? Again, all these things, what it's doing is it's making their brain think about the space in a different way. And they have to really be aware of that depth. And it's kind of turning their brain onto that 3D stereo scene, which is what we want. And so that's why that, or like being aware of the motion, all of these things are kind of telling the brain, hey, don't forget, we can see in 3D. Don't forget, we can see space between things, and we need to be thinking about that. And so, you could watch, I have a Mastering Peripheral course. You can watch that and then apply those. You have to use creativity on what your kids are interested in. But the idea is helping them be aware of space between them and where they're looking, and being able to see to the sides. And so if you can make it a game while you're doing something else, that's ideal. If they're playing a sport, constantly try to be bringing in like the space and periphery into that realm. So that's the number one thing, is helping them keep using the space and thinking about the space in their daily life. Another really big one for kids that is so important is making sure that they have plenty of time to play. And I know, like, I hate to say this, I know how annoying it is. I have 4 kids, guys. I really do understand. But especially if your child had esotropia or has esotropia, like, do not let them play it on phones and tablets. Like, ever? Is it possible? It's not possible, like, especially if it's a teenager and the world we live in. But like, rules that I would have for sure: absolutely no video streaming on a phone or a tablet. Like, if they're going to watch a movie, great, they have to watch it on the TV. They're going to play a video game, great, it can't be handheld, it can't be on the Switch. Switch needs to be connected to the TV, and they're playing on the Switch across the room, and they can't sit 2 feet away. Like, when you're looking up close, your eyes are turning in, and so that's going to just make their eyes want to go back to that position. And so we want to keep them in a more balanced posture. So, like, I don't know, I know it's drastic, but that is probably the biggest thing that you're going to do based on how the world is right now, right? Everything is screen based, and that's why we have so much more esotropia now than ever before, because everyone's eyes are constantly locked in at near. So if they're younger kids, you could just say, no, you don't ever get to play on my phone, no games on phones, no videos on phones. If they're older and they're a teenager, it's like the minimum. Use the phone as a tool for texting, calling, and what they have to. But if they want to look at, videos is a big one. There's just no streaming allowed on phones. So I know that one's hard. I'm sorry, and you're welcome. It's really important. And then in addition to like limiting that close-up screen time, and again, watch movies all day long. Okay, not really, but that's fine across the room. But having them involved in sports and athletics, especially where you're getting bilateral body movement, because it's using both sides of the body, which is going to go to the brain. Miracle things have happened for kids who do cross country, and that repetitive motion of running can it straightens out the brain. So sports, gymnastics, all of those things, whether that's on a team or going for a walk every night as a family or riding bikes, those things are all so good for that brain and getting both sides of the brain. And then while you're on your walk or you're riding the bikes, you're saying like, ooh, can you see this out of your periphery? Oh, if you look over here, can you still see this? And you have to make it a game, or they're going to get annoyed, but you can do it. I believe in you. You're a parent. Parents are very creative. Okay. So those are the 2 biggest ones. It's all about what you're doing in your everyday life and how you can use your vision in a positive way 90% of the time for what you're doing. Okay. Now, adding in some eye exercises is obviously going to be good too. So easiest way is watching 3D movies. Super easy. If you are doing it on YouTube, you just search 3D anaglyph and you wear red over the left eye. Okay, that's different. Usually in vision therapy, you put red over the right. For this, you're going to do red over the left eye. You can go to 3D movies at the movie theater. That's even better because it's a huge screen and there's lots of space between you and the screen. So that's a super easy way, especially if they've already been through vision therapy. They should be able to see the depth really well on a 3D movie, and it's engaging. You can watch a movie that they like. You can get a 3D projector and have them watch 3D movies on a projector. So this is a great maintenance activity. You don't get a lot of pushback on that one. Same with virtual reality. There's a lot of really fun virtual reality games that can help with your vision. If you already have a headset that you were using, the only thing with VR is the vision therapy apps require a subscription, except for Equal Eyes. So Equal Eyes is one where you can just pay one time and then you just have it forever. So that is one that I love for maintenance because you're not paying that monthly subscription. So that can be, it adds up. Even if it's only 20 or 30 bucks a month, it still adds up. And so having a VR app where, okay, they maybe are playing Beat Saber or some fun game, right, that doesn't have anything to do with vision therapy, but then say, okay, before you do that, you have to do the bubbles on Equal Eyes or whatever, So if you want more information, I have a million videos about virtual reality, but if you've already been through all the vision therapy, you probably know some things like that. So that's one where you can easily incorporate that into something they're already doing. It's really fun. Magic Eye is another fun one. Keep one of these books in the car. This is so good for their vision, especially if they can do it. I can't, but some people can. Basically, you look at the picture. You know these from like childhood, right? You look through the picture and you relax your eyes, and then like a magical picture appears. A lot of times, kids will learn how to do this while they're in vision therapy, and so you just have them do that sometimes and make sure these are all things to make sure they're still using both eyes. You want to make sure both eyes are still engaged. So in the 3D movie you're watching, are they reaching out and grabbing for things in the air? That tells you that they're using both eyes. VR, if you're doing one of like the ones where click the bubble that's closest, right? That's going to help. They have to use both eyes together to do that effectively. So there's different games like that. And then Magic Eye, again, if they can't see the floating depth, okay, maybe we need to revisit some eye exercises. So those are kind of ones where you can just do them, and as long as they're able to successfully see the depth on the 3D movie, you're good. You're good. If one day they're like, oh, I can't see it and it's giving me a headache and I don't like this and I just want to take them off, you're like, okay, red flag, something's going on. Maybe we need to revisit some home therapy exercises for a while. So I kind of like to use, for myself, that's what I kind of use as a gauge. If I'll watch a 3D movie, and if it makes me super sick, I'm like, okay, I probably need to do a little bit more at home. And then let's say that you do one of those and you're not seeing the depth, or sorry, your child isn't seeing the depth. They're not reaching out and grabbing, or they can't see the depth in the 3D book. That's when you go back to those exercises you got from vision therapy. When they gave you your home stretch activities or your retainer activities, whatever they call them at your office, go back to the ones they were doing in office. Every office does things differently. So for me to say, do this exact exercise, it doesn't really make sense. There's so many good exercises. It's not like there's one that's going to be the magic ticket. But go back to the ones that they know and revisit those. Whether it's, they have like eccentric circles, they have the lifesaver cards. I guess I should be showing like this is the lifesaver card. Something with the red and green glasses where they're seeing depth, maybe luster where they're wearing the glasses and they're trying to get a mixture of colors. Brock string. A lot of offices have like a vision builder program, or there's another one, but they'll have like home therapy programs that are on computer, and they'll use those for home exercises. And I know my kids did vision therapy like 8 years ago, or I guess my son did it 7 years ago, and we still have access to his. It's like a lifetime access. And I think, I don't know if every program, I know Vision Builder is that way. So go back to that and just do those computer exercises you were doing before. And that, even if you do that for like a week and do it 3 or 4 times that week, or, for a couple weeks, things should get back on track. And so the big idea is we want to be thinking about space and just being out in open spaces, looking big, looking soft, doing the things that you already know are good for your vision. Trying some 3D stuff, once a month or so, those 3D movies, Magic Eye pictures, that to kind of check in, make sure we're still using both eyes. I think once a month, every other month, that's plenty. And if you were to do one of those things and just they weren't able to do it effectively, revisiting the exercises that you got from your vision therapy office. And hopefully, if it's a little kid, you're not going to have to do this for long, and it's going to become a natural habit for them. Adults, sometimes they require a little bit more maintenance, but usually with kids, after 6 months to a year of this, it just kind of solidifies, and they just use both eyes, and it's not a problem. So hopefully that's the case with your little one. If you have more questions, make sure to leave them in the comments below. And you can always schedule a Zoom call with me if you want to talk a little bit more about your individual case, or if you have more questions about virtual reality and how to get that set up for your child depending on their age and what they have going on. I can help with that. So good luck. Let me know in the comments what questions you have, and we will see you in the next video.